video just gave you a brief introduction into the 49ers and the gold rush. So, does anyone remember the man's name who found the first piece of gold in California? It said it in the beginning of the video.
I think it was John.
Okay, John Sutter. That's exactly right. It was a man named John Sutter. And at first, John Sutter wanted to keep this finding of gold kind of private. He didn't want it to spread. Why do you think he might have wanted to keep it private? Marshall?
So he could get as much gold as he could before everyone else did.
Okay, maybe he wanted to keep the gold. Why else might someone want to keep it private? Marissa?
So they could be more rich than others.
Maybe. Alyssa?
Maybe since he's the one with the gold, maybe they're gonna want to murder him or something to get the gold from him.
Okay, so maybe a bunch of people are gonna hurt him to come to California. Okay, one more page.
I think that he would keep it to himself because if not, then there would be everyone everywhere looking for gold.
Okay, that is exactly what I was looking for. Well, yes, he may have had some reasons for wanting to keep the gold. The main reason that history will tell you is because John Sutter knew if this word spread of all the gold, exactly what happened would happen. There would be a huge rush of people trying to come to California and take over this land to try and become rich. So John Sutter wanted to try and keep that private so that they didn't have this rush of people.
So basically,
Raise your hand, please. Yes, AJ.
how did everybody get there?
Well, does anyone remember how they got there? The video named a couple ways. How did they travel to California?
How did they find out about it?
Oh, they found out about it just through word of mouth. Word would spread just from people to people, and eventually it made its way all the way back east to different groups of people. Just because.
I thought he didn't tell anybody.
Well, John's. Hang on. Let's keep our comments. Raise your hand if you have something to say. John Sutter might not have told anyone, but there were other people around who found out and who knew. So eventually, word did start spreading. Yes, Nathan?
So basically, California is a gold mine.
Not anymore, but they thought it was back in 1949, 48, and 49. Yes, Paige?
Are we still going to answer that question where you asked how they traveled?
Yeah, you can still answer that. So what were some of the ways the video said they traveled? Connor?
By boat.
Okay, by boat. And some would go, does anyone remember the path they would take by boat? Kaden?
They would take the Southern Pacific.
They would go down the one side of South America and then come back up through the southern side of the Pacific. Yep, that's right. That was one way. What's another way they traveled, Marissa? Okay, hang on. I'll come back to your question in 1 second. Alexis, what's another way they traveled?
They used horses and wagons, and then they traveled the Oregon Trail.
Okay, they used horses and wagons and traveled across the United States. And was that?
Yeah.
Those were the two main ways that they traveled. Okay, Marissa, what was your question?
I was going to say, is there still gold you can find?
Not that I know of. Maybe little bits and pieces, but not that I know of. Yes, Alyssa.
Where did the gold come from? Do you know?
Just there.
I'm guessing it came from the land. Sometimes it's a mineral, so sometimes different minerals just come from the land. Okay, so we're going to read a short passage in just a minute, but real quick I want to review. So why did the 49ers travel west? What were they looking for? Kaden.
They traveled west for the gold.
They were traveling west to look for the gold, and what did they think this gold would do for them? Kaylee? Yes, they thought it would make them rich. Jalen, if you'll help pass these out. And Brooke, since you're no paper passers. Sure everyone gets one. And they both say learn about the California gold rush, but I want you guys to have the picture of the man kneeling down next to the river or water on the...
color this?
Why is gold so
Gold's worth a lot of money.
It's just so fun.
Kind of, but it's made into jewelry and other things, so it has value.
It's really, really good.
Okay, we are going to popcorn read this passage. I'll start, and then I'll pick a boy, and then I want boys to pick girls and girls to pick boys, okay? So learn about the California Gold Rush. A man named John Sutter owned some land in California. He hired some men to build a sawmill on the land. The foreman on the job, John W. Marshall, saw flecks of gold sparkling in the mill race and pointed them out to Mr. Sutter. Within a month, the news had spread about the discovery of gold in the American River in California. Kaden Lawson?
In 1849, thousands of people rushed to California hoping to get rich mining for gold. They became known as 49ers. The first difficulty in 49ers was how to get to California. Some traveled on a ship to the East Coast, all the way around South America. Others seeking gold took the ship to Mexico and
Panama.
Panama across the land, and then boarded the other ship to travel by the coastline to California. Most people, however, made the journey west in wagons and
Okay. Real quick before you pick someone else. So how did the 49ers get their name? Why were they called the 49ers, AJ?
Because they started mining in 1849.
They started traveling and mining in 1849. So they were given a nickname based on the year that they started working. Okay, Kaden, will you pick a girl to read, please?
After taking the perilous trip, the 49ers discovered that everything was very expensive near the gold fields. People were so busy trying to strike it rich that they did not take the time to build permanent lodging or take care of sanitation needs. There was no good places to live, and diseases such as cholera were spreading. People also found that gold mining was very, very tedious work. There were different methods for mining. Panning for gold or scooping up dirt in a stream was the fastest way to get started. A cradle and
Charles. Yeah.
could also be used to extract the gold.
You can pick a boy if you want.
These work on the same principle as the pan.
And then the dirt.
These work on the same principle as the pan and the dirt. These work the same principle as the pan and the dirt was put into the cradle or trough. Water was then poured over the dirt, and the heavier gold would go to the bottom. Other miners dug into the ground. Still, others blasted into the mountainside using strong sprays of water to get the gold. The hydraulic mining method was banned after 1884 because of the damage it caused to the environment.
Okay.
There were no laws in the area where the gold rush began. People would argue over land claims or try to cheat each other by saying there was gold on the land by clearing a gold nugget on it.
Mark and Suri.
Mark. Not many people became rich from the gold, but a lot of people became rich by furnishing supplies to the gold diggers. A man named Philip Armour sold beef to the miners from his butcher shop. This is a familiar name on such things as hot days today. Another man named Levi Strauss sold Louisiana, written by a Southern foster, was performed so often that it became a popular folk song and an inspiration for the miners. To this day, entertainment is a major industry in California. Nathan.
California gold rush only lasted a few years, but the main effects of it were
Significant. Significant.
Mining caused major whatever. I think they don't want to change it. The land was mutilated by miners in a hurry to find gold. Plants were unable to grow and animals were unable to survive without
Vegetation.
vegetation for food and shelter. Pollination was also invented.
Girl.
As miners and the people working the businesses increased in population, Native Americans lost their land and their homes. Diseases brought by the settlers and the miners caused by many people of the Native Americans to die. Jalen?
Gold mining led to the mining of natural resources such as gold, oil, salt, copper, and tin. The population of California grew quickly because so many people had moved to the area to seek their fortunes. California grew so fast that it became a state in 1850, only 2 years after the discovery of gold at Sutter's Mill.
Okay. We will be coming back to this passage throughout the lesson to talk about different aspects of it. But now I would like for you to, well, first let's answer this question. Did the 49ers succeed in their quest to strike it rich? Okay, remember?
I have a question.
Yes.
If it's John Sutter's land, why was everyone else allowed to mine it?
They didn't actually mine on his land because it said in the passage that it was found in the California, or the American River in California. Not all of that whole river was his land. So the part that was his land, I'm sure, was kept just to himself, but the other land was public for anyone. Okay, so did the 49ers succeed in their quest to strike it rich? Connor?
Some did, but not all.
Some did, but not all. Who actually became rich during this period? Dominic?
The people who sold stuff to them.
The people who sold stuff to them. And what's it called? The things that we sell, what are those called? The economic term for them? Kaylee? Goods. The people who sold the goods to them are the ones who ended up making most of the money. Does anyone remember why, or think they have an idea why these are the people who made the money? Taylor?
Because the miners who needed the goods paid the people.
Okay. The miners who needed the goods, they were desperate for them. They wanted to get rich, so they had to have these goods to find that gold. So they were willing to spend their money, and sometimes their gold, if that's what it took, to get these goods so they could find more gold. Yes, Paige.
If they were mining and then they went back and they got more stuff, they could, the people who are selling it to them could make a lot of money off of it.
Exactly. They could make a lot of money because these gold miners kept coming back for more goods. Maggie.
It says that in paragraph 2 on the first part of the page that